they use drones, they use canines, and ultimately, after 2 hours using a drone that has some sort of heat-seeking technology where they could find the warmth of a body, they located Kneeland deceased in a portable toilet, and it appears it was from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. It's just a horribly sad story, obviously. Around 10:40 p.m., 10:39 to be exact, Lauren, Frisco police got a phone call from the Texas Department of Public Safety, essentially asking for help, requesting help with a pursuit that was going on that had entered Frisco. Police momentarily, for a few minutes, lost track of this vehicle that they were trying to pursue. It's not exactly clear why the initial stop was enacted. There are some reports that it was because there was a traffic violation. Anyway, this car that we now obviously believe to be Marshawn Kneeland was in the pursuit, gets away for a few minutes. Cops ultimately find the car a few minutes later, but the vehicle is empty. It had been involved in a crash on the Dallas Parkway. Police then set up a perimeter, and they are trying to find the driver of the car, again, who we ultimately find out was Marshawn Kneeland. They use drones, they use canines, and ultimately, after 2 hours, using a drone that has some sort of heat-seeking technology where they could find the warmth of a body, they located Kneeland deceased in a portable toilet, and it appears it was from a self-inflicted gunshot wound.
I guess one thing, if I can hop in, Lauren, that, from the different statements we're getting, Michael, there was a pursuit, like you mentioned. We don't really know if, I guess at this point, I don't know if you have any more information on, was Marshawn Kneeland speeding? Was there something else going on, or did people just alert the officials to go and try and pursue him because of what they learned?
Yeah, so I'll say it like this: we haven't confirmed the information, but there are reports out there that indicate that he was traveling at a very high rate of speed, and that was the reason for the initial stop, although they sadly didn't get him stopped. Try and pull him over, and he again momentarily gets away and then flees. But not confirmed by us. But the reports are that he was traveling at a very high rate of speed.
I think it's puzzling. So there's about a 2-hour time frame. You're saying from where he leaves the vehicle to where they discover him.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Lauren. It's from 10:39 to, it's even more actually, Lauren. I think I said 2 hours, but from 10:39 p.m. To ultimately found at 1:31 a.m. There was quite some time, and they say again they were using the drones, using the dogs to try and find him, but just sadly did not get to him in time.
Yeah, on that scanner traffic that you guys played on TMZ, and I was talking about with Jeff, you hear them say the NFL has called.
Yeah. I had never heard anything like that before. And it's not exactly clear how the NFL even knew this was going on. But the NFL called, and then one of the dispatchers says, I'm going to call the Cowboys. So it seems like the team and the league were involved in real time. Now, to what degree, that's not known. But yeah, I had never heard anything like that before, Lauren, that they actually said that, we've got a call on the other line from the NFL. And it's just not clear how they knew. You can just tell, though, even listening to the dispatch audio and what they were being told from the girlfriend and from the family, they were really concerned about his mental state and that he might do something to himself. And sadly, the worst outcome here happened.
Yeah.
Was there anything else, Michael, that seemed uncharacteristic from other scanner calls like this that you've listened to in the past?
Yeah, just that was the one part that stood out to me. That and not that it was unusual, but just the concern for him that you could tell that but it didn't seem like things had been going well for him. It seemed like he had been dealing with some mental health issues leading up to the incident, and it was very clear that that's what the family was feeling. So it's a horribly sad story when, you know, he's 24 years old. You know, it just feels senseless.
Yeah, we heard from his agent. His agent said that he poured his heart into every snap, every practice, every moment on the field. And his statement says, to lose someone with his talent, his spirit, and his goodness is a pain I can hardly put into words. I think while he was struggling, he clearly was loved by many. And
that was one of the things that I've noticed. It seems he was very well liked, Lauren, that everybody loved being around him. And I think that's a credit to him. It probably says a lot about him as a person.
Yeah, there hasn't been a ton of social media reaction from his teams yet. I'm sure they're still
from the teammates
processing this.
Right.
One defensive teammate, Wanye Thomas, just said, sick to my stomach, my brother. And so I'm sure there will be a lot more of that throughout the course of the day. And the week.
I think so too. And I suppose maybe because you guys are on the bye week this week too, that everyone's not at the facility today. But I would think, I think the tributes probably start rolling in here very soon.
Yeah, we've heard from the NFL. They did a post, obviously the one from the Dallas Cowboys. I know we also heard from the former defensive coordinator from Mike Zimmer had a statement basically saying that he was just heartbroken and that he had told him, like, dude, the last thing he says, dude, just keep being you because you're awesome and you're going to have a great career. And just is heartbroken to learn this
to
news.
Score that touchdown on Sunday and to see him make that play and the joy in the end zone and to think now just a couple of days later that we're here, it almost doesn't seem like it could be real and you know, sadly it is.
No, I mean, we've talked about that play, but it just kind of goes back to we really never know in these stories what's happening behind the scenes. I mean,
I heard you guys say it. I thought you made a great point. Yeah, it's like, you know, you're on the Dallas Cowboys. You've got, you know, making all this money, and you think everything's good, but you never know what people are going through. And I think that's probably a good message for us all to remember here now.